Welcome to another FARMTOWN misadventure episode with Charlie Many Layers and JJ. In this episode, we'll be looking at the trains. What are they and why do we have them? Enjoy. First off, what are the trains made of? Well, they have a locomotive, such as this one down here. So what are the trains for, and what are they? They consist of a locomotive, which we have here, and we have various cars with them. There are short cars, which are strictly decoration, and then there's long cars, which are farm cash items, and they contain products that will be used in your facilities. The locomotives, there are 5 of them, and we'll show you them in a moment, but 4 of them cost farm cash and 1 only cost farm coins. You can have up to 2 of each of the locomotives that are in dispatch mode at any particular time. We'll cover more on the locomotives in a moment. And then the long cars, which are the farm cash, are all productives, each one carrying different loads of ingredients that you would use for your facilities. You can have only 1 of each of those on any particular train. If you had more than 1, only 1 would provide your products. You wouldn't get double the products if you had 2 of them. This particular train, of course, we've got quite a few of them. You can have as few as 0 of them, where you would have just a decorative train, or you can have 1 up to a total of 19 different long production cars. And each one, of course, carrying different products. And you'll notice this one is a little bit shorter. And the reason is it is a decorative car for decoration only. I think most all the rest of the ones I have here are all decorative. We even have passenger trains. And they can connect to your regular freight trains. Here I've placed them on here in such a way that it looks like one continuous car, but it's not. It's really individual cars. And you have old-time passenger cars as well, and then more decorative ones. These are all decoratives, and like I say, they're a different length than are the others. And of course, I like to always have a caboose on the end of the train. It's also decorative, and all decoratives cost coins, not cash. Here we are at the store where you would purchase your train items. First off, we're going to look at the locomotives. This is the steam locomotive. Steam freight locomotive is what they call it. It's farm coins. And you can use it ideally for either regular freight, or you can also use it as a decorative. Works either way. If you use them for freight, you can have a maximum of 2 of them on all of your farms total dispatched at any particular time, if it's got long freight cars along on it. And this takes 6 days to complete the trip to fully load all of the cars. It can be boosted by 1 day, which would make it come in 5 days. The first of the farm cash ones is the enhanced freight locomotive. It costs 35 farm cash, and it takes 5 days regularly or 4 days boosted. It's generally used only for production use, and you are limited to 2 dispatched ones at any one time on all of your farms. Next is the Supreme Freight Locomotive. It's 40 farm cash and takes 4 days or 3 days boosted. Then you have the Ultimate Freight Locomotive. It completes the journey in 3 days or 2 days boosted, and it costs 45 farm cash. And of our production locomotives, the last one is the Turbo Freight Locomotive. It costs 50 farm cash and completes the trip in 2 days or 1 day in boosted mode. Then you have your purely decorative engines, and I won't cover all of them, but everything from this is a red passenger locomotive for old-time trains, a circus locomotive, and so forth. They are strictly farm coins and strictly decorative. All of your train locomotives and cars are found in the section Trains and Ships at the store. There you also find your regular decorative cars. They're priced at 10,000 coins each and are strictly decorations. And then regular cars. Now, one thing that purpose for these also, besides just the decorations, is with the standard local motives or the freight cars, long freight cars, as an example. You can only buy them. Okay, it's going to give us a warning, but that's okay, because we're not going to actually buy it. But that's a caution that tells you, keeps you from buying more than one for each car or train. If you have one train per farm. The long farm cash freight cars only come in 2 directions. I'm going to call this vertical and this horizontal. In my example here, they're in this mode here. Like there. They're in that mode. And such as that. while the other cars, such as these here, if you buy them, they come in those two directions plus other directions for going around curves. So if your train track goes in a curve, in order to connect them, you'd need to do that. You don't have to have your production cars connected directly to the locomotive. Only in that entire line, to where when you click or you put your mouse over the locomotive, they will all light up like such, because they're all connected. That would be, the connections and everything will be covered in a separate video. Why do you have them? How do you use them? You use them to produce products for your facilities. Additionally, if you have, for each long car you have in production, the mayor will give you 5% more help if you're working your friend and neighbor's facility posts. So that if you had just one locomotive connected to one, he would do 5% more, or in the case, say, if they had 100 facilities on a farm, he automatically does 50 of them, and you do 50. But if you have one long car dispatched, then he will work 55, and you'll only work 45. So that if you have a total of 10, that will allow you to not have to work any of them, except in the case if there's only one facility on that farm. Otherwise, works all of the facilities that are on each farm. With one locomotive, you will have to go individual from farm to farm, as you do if you have no trains. But that train being there gives you an advantage, especially when you have cars attached to it that are in production, to where you do a single click once you're on each farm. If you have 2 of those trains with 10 or more on each one, and 19 on one and 1 on another, doesn't work. It still counts. You only have one train with 10 or more on it. You have to have 2 trains with 10 or more, and then you go down to the mayor does all the work for you, including going from farm to farm on your friend's facility. If you have a 3rd train with production on it loaded, you get a bonus. Okay, here's the help on that. It says rules for the extra 80% products bonus. When unloading a train, if you have at least 3 trains dispatched or ready to unload with 10 freight cars each, I will grant you an extra bonus of 80% of the products delivered by the train. So that's the official rule as it stands of today, which is the 23rd of September 2022. One other positive thing on production locomotives and cars is if your friends have sent you a boost request for their train, you get a small percentage of the products that are on that train. As an example here, this friend has sent me a locomotive here. And to boost it, all I have to do is click there. Then there is an additional way of doing that. The train management is done from the extended toolbox, and it's located up here. For convenience, I have it shortcutted down to here on my panel, so that I can simply click here and it brings up everything I can do about the farm, about the trains, without going to the individual farms. As an example, this car is on Farm 1. This is the farm we're on. This one is on Farm 2, Farm 4. This is Farm 15. This is 16, and so forth. But we can check here to see if we have any boosted. Okay, we do not show any here, and that's probably because that one that we saw has actually already been fully boosted. Each train takes so many boosts in order to be accelerated one day. As an example, the steam locomotive, the standard freight locomotive, which is a steamer, takes 10 boosts by your friends in order to accelerate it one day. The turbo freight locomotive, which is the top one, it takes 14 boosts, so that 14 of your friends gets a share of what is loaded on that train. If you have all 19 long cars on it, they get quite amount. If you only have one, they only get a small amount of products, because they get a share of the products that are on each individual car on the train. So that's the advantages of it, and I'm showing you kind of how at the same time you go about this. And that pretty well covers this. We will be doing additional videos covering how you go about connecting them, how you go around corners, and so forth. Thank you, and have a good day. Following here will be just a few views of train layouts I have enjoying.